Hello, this is the Council on Independent Fundamental Bible Doctrine. I'm doing my next video in the Amazing Word series on the science section. It is titled Knowledge Beyond Years. Most of the videos in this section could be titled Knowledge Beyond Years, but after a while, there's so much of it, you run out of appropriate titles. So you just kind of have to look at them, basically. And just kind of come up with just a new way to say the same thing, basically, because there's just so much of it. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's look at some additional science in the Bible. Genesis 17:12, and he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or brought with money of a stranger, which is not of thy seed. And in thy 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. And it came to pass that on the 8th day they came to circumcise the child. We see here that babies were to be circumcised on the 8th day. Interestingly enough, science has concluded that the blood clotting chemical prothrombin peaks in a newborn on the 8th day. Okay, now this is not something I know. This is just something that I have heard. Okay, so science has documented it. Okay, obviously I can't say 100% on this one, but because I'm not the person that did the study. But that is incredibly, shall we say, convenient. I mean, why would prothrombin peak in a newborn on the 8th day? Okay, why would the Bible say to circumcise a newborn on the 8th day? Okay, you see the inherent knowledge that had to be possessed that the people thousands of years ago would not have understood or known. See, that's the thing with all this stuff. They would not have understood or known that. There's no way. People, before I did this study, I didn't even understand prothrombin and that it peaked on the 8th day. Okay? And I live today. Okay? I'm sure those people didn't realize it. Okay? They didn't even know half the stuff we know today. But here it is, written thousands of years prior to science figuring it out. 4,000 years prior to the discovery of this chemical and that it peaked on the 8th day. The Bible knew thousands of years before science, and like a protective father, he sets the rules to protect his children. One should also know if you follow them, you are protected. If you don't follow them, not so much. That is the problem with the children, okay, in a nutshell. The problem for those who are not his children is another story. But he is gracious. He is a gracious father who wants to protect his children. Okay? If you as a parent tell your children to do something, okay, you don't always try to explain it to them because you know they're not going to understand it anyway. So if he would have tried to tell them, well, prothrombin would clot the blood better at the 8th day than any time before that or after it. They're not going to understand that. So he just tells them to do it. Okay, just like a parent would tell a child. Nothing groundbreaking scientifically here, but interesting explanation of cavemen. But now they that are younger than I have met in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men, They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of valleys and in the caves of the earth and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. He would not have wanted these men sitting with his dogs. I don't think cavemen were respectable people in their communities. Okay, all these cave drawings and stuff and things, these were base men, men that society had kicked out. So all this stuff they say about how cavemen were, kind of mean and, well, that's because they were. But that wasn't all men. That was just those that got kicked out. Okay, that's where they lived. Okay, I just thought that was a very interesting piece. Okay, let's go on to another one. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Right? So he's giving them things to eat. And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, and the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its own kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. Interesting is that there is no reported discovery of the seed, and that seed is what bring forth crops. It is like it has always been here. See, that's the interesting thing. There is no recorded beginning. See, the Bible says God gave it to man from the beginning. That's why we don't have any recorded history where it says, farming started here, or this or that started here. Okay, it's because it was here from the beginning. God told Adam and Eve, this is what you do. Okay, that's why we have no history of the beginning of farming. Okay, you can trace it all the way back to the beginning of time, and you can't find anything where it began because it had already been here. And that is exactly what the Bible depicts, that farming of crops through seeds has always been here because God gave it to them in the beginning. Okay, that's why there's no recorded history that it was invented, okay, or discovered. All right. Okay, again, what the Bible says fits our reality like a glove. However, there is some understanding of how the seed works that science did not confirm till much later, particularly that the seed actually dies. Okay, the Bible talks about the death of the seed, okay, before it brings forth life. They would have just put it in the ground and not really known that it was going to die to bring forth life. There's a picture for you. The fact became known to science much later, but the Bible knew it. Thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickened except it die. And that which thou sowest not that body that shall be, but bear grain. It may chance of wheat or of some grain, but God giveth it a body, and it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body. Okay, so God gave farming from the beginning, and of course, we have no recorded history of where it began. You can trace it all the way back, and you can't find a beginning, okay, which fits with the Bible, that God gave it to them all the way back to the beginning. Okay, and you can find scientific understanding in the Bible that the seed actually had to die before it brings forth life. These are some of the cool things that are in the Bible. And even the ones that are not exactly profound, they fit. They fit perfectly with scientific reality today. Just perfect. So, but I'll get this one up. I'll get another one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.